Okay, so okay, everything good, good, good. I'm gonna leave this up here. Okay, so this. All right, give me a second. Okay, yes, cut, paste, name, C, name, B, 30. Awesome. Okay, let's leave that. Leave that. And why does this halt? Nothing weird in there, I don't think. It's weird. 5, reload, reboot. Okay. Chat. Let's go in chat. Let's do some here. Do okay. Yes. Okay. All right. Chat. Maybe it stops after. Hmm, okay. Hang it. Pardon me. Excuse me. Okay. And And if anybody's in here, super secret stream, this simply means that I'm not advertising it everywhere, although I put it at more places tonight than I normally do. It just means that, I don't have a set time that I do this, and pretty much like during the day, but, during the day I at least try to do several times. This might only be half an hour, or whatever, depending on what's going on. And, but I want to get some extra work in, and so part of the deal is that I stream every time I actually work on the game. So that's what I'm doing right now. So it doesn't mean it's actually secret. It just means that I'm not posting the link everywhere. So and it's just like not a usual time. It's like an impromptu stream kind of sort of thing. Anyways, if anybody's watching, thanks, and if not, well, that's cool. Whatever. That's your prerogative, I guess. That's fine. Let's go ahead and reload. There we go. And yep, it goes further and further in and further and further in. And that's trippy. It's trippy because it's actually kind of slow. I mean, it's doing it, but it's doing it slowly. I'm doing this so I can keep the chat here up on screen. So I will be doing something here. This. And okay. Step stuff. Let's go to redot. I don't know if I'm gonna actually be running it though. Let's go to projects. Let's go to deal. Let's go to rooms. Okay. And actually, what I was doing was okay. So let's go back up to dev stuff here, and I need to. Okay. Actually, I forgot. This is how I did it. Okay. Design documents, right? This one, locales. Okay. So, we're going to ask Grok to do something again, and let me pull up. That's not what I want to pull up. I need a new window is what I need. So, new window, so, and I'm simply, here, let's make this a little bit shorter. I'm just covering the area of the screen. So, there. And then I'm going to go to Grok. And I'm going to find the history here. I guess, is it this one? Oh, it is this one. Okay. Okay. Actually, Saturday evening, and I'm doing an impromptu stream as well as continuing to develop my game. So, let me repaste this. Select all, copy, paste. Paste as plain text, paste, paste. Please acknowledge what's going on. Hopefully it won't be too bad. It does mean that the conversation is going on a little bit long, so we'll see. We'll see. Start with 2D. I know a lot of 3D people draw stick figure masterpieces when pressured. Okay, I acknowledge that this is the updated room list you'll be working with. I'll proceed with any task. Okay, so the next thing I want to do with this list is at the end of each room. I want you to put yes, colon, and then the next, let's see, do I want, okay, the next thing I want to do with this updated list is to take the location on the second line of the room description and put it with the number connected with a hyphen. ASCII, plain ASCII only. So that something like 090 090 now becomes 090 Castle North Terrace Catwalk. Don't remove the location line by itself, just add in the location and a hyphen after each number. Ha! This will be kind of cool. That is, if this doesn't croak before I get done. I think I'll still add this to the locales one. I'll just like overwrite the, the text. Pardon me, I'm hiccuping and burping at the same time for some weird reason. Oh well, doesn't look like anybody's gonna join my super. Oh, this over here. Okay. Uh, all right, that's all right. Nobody has to see. How is this going? Very slowly. As long as it does what I want, it can be pretty slow. I'm actually going to I'm going to take all of these and then okay. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to take these and I'm going to have it add a location tag. I'm going to have it this will be like the ID tag or the locale, and then so location. Maybe I should call it like loc ID or something, locale ID or mm, exactly. Yeah, well, it's not you're not going to be removing anything there, buddy. Okay, so let's select all. Let's go ahead and paste. Okay, that's awesome. Now, what's next? What's next? What's next? let's let's go and um here, let's see something here. Big rooms, let me know how you'd like to proceed next. What's the renumbering task you mentioned earlier? Okay, so let me ask, location or locale be safe to use um, for any GD script objects, any redot go objects. It'll come up with this long, drawn out thing, but hopefully it's not going to. Hopefully it's not going to like what's up. I said butts. I didn't say anything else. I didn't say another word. Mm-hmm. And let's. And I have to wait till it goes because it just goes and goes. It doesn't actually. And if it was instant, it would be fine because then I just read it right after. But it's not instant most of the time. And look how long this is. I'll read it, but it's super long. Let's dive in with a location, local, or locale. It'll be safe to use identifiers for redot if we're Godot 4.3 objects such as variable names, node names, or property names in your game. Since redot is based on Godot 4.3, we can base our analysis on Godot's conventions, syntax rules, and potential conflicts built-in names or keywords. I'll evaluate each term for safety and provide recommendations. Keep in mind your game development context with room lists you're working with. Um, Redot being a fork, use GDScript as primary scripting language, similar to Python. Godot, like keyword Redot, specific rules for naming identifiers, variable names. Set of built-in classes, functions, keywords should be avoided. Naming rules. Identifiers must start with letter A to Z or an underscore followed by letters. Identifiers GDScript keywords. While Godot is case sensitive for some purposes, node names. GDScript itself is not case sensitive for variable names. But it's a good practice to use consistent casing. I didn't realize that. snake case for variables, Pascal case for class names, which is that's I use Pascal case not just for class names but for my function calls. It's just the way I've always done it because I started with Turbo Pascal basically. Well, I started with Pascal in high school on a Macintosh, and then he gave us a choice of sticking with Pascal or moving on to C, and I decided not to move on to C, which I probably in hindsight should have moved on to C, but whatever, you know. Hindsight is 2020 and all that. Petitional conflicts. Avoid names that match keywords, built-in properties. Uh, GDScript keywords. Location is not a reserved word. GDScript. There's no base class. Concept location. Certain contexts. Node objects have a global position property, which represents location scene tree. Transform 2D have properties related position. Similar. Doesn't matter if it's conceptually similar. That doesn't matter. If it's called location or near it, then it's a common term in game development. If you use location as a variable property name, there's a small risk of confusion. With feature updates, you might introduce a location property or method, especially in the spatial or navigation related classes. Mostly safe to use. Common term. Room location. I'm trying to get away with the deal of stating in the deal what it is in the actual property name because usually it's like room dot something, right? Even if the name of the room is something different, it, you know. So room.room location, just to me it's just like double. Not reserved keyword. Built-in classes, no built-in class. Sometimes shorthand for location or localization in programming context. Godot doesn't use it in an API. Uses local in some contexts. Okay. Uh, Unlikely to conflict with any current or future readout names, not standard term. However, it might be less clear. Look is it doesn't conflict. Okay. Locale, not a reserved word. Related to localization, language, and regional settings. Translation server class as methods for. Okay. Okay. So I can't use locale. I get it. Um, Not entirely safe. Recommendation for giving you your room list. Where each has a location name. You're likely planning to use locations. Location aligns well. Room location. Look or loc equals Janland. Safe. It doesn't conflict. Less descriptive. Recommendation. Applying to your game development. Okay. Okay, so I've not decided yet. See, basically, this is going to be essentially the location ID. The both the number and actual location title will refer to the same thing, but the word just makes it slightly more descriptive. I want to refrain from using room in the context of a specific property of a room, because usually you might loop through for room in rooms, and then to have room dot room ID or room dot room location is superfluous. It's superfluous. So I might go as far as something like loc ID or even location ID. But even so, it doesn't have to have anything to do with location in the name. I was just thinking of possible names I could use for a unique location ID. That's to design a location ID for an identifier combined with the number location title to uniquely identify each location. It's still working, huh? Okay. We need a property name for this identifier that avoids redundancy and potential conflicts. You also express a preference to avoid using room in the property name because you'll likely iterate. It's something that feels superfluous. Let's explore some naming options. Your goal: you're creating a unique location ID for each entry in your room list, where the ID combines the room number and location title. This ID you will use to identify locations in your game and need a property name to store this variable, no name, or dictionary key. Constraints: avoid using room property name, prevent redundancy. Property name should be safe to use. The name should be descriptive, but doesn't necessarily need to include location. for suggestions, but you're open to other names with the free unique location ID. Current list format. Uh, Second line location. And the description. The first line unique location ID you're working with. Yeah, that's that's actually correct. That is the location ID, the actual location. Uh, Honestly, I could call it the location name, but location would still be the location name, wouldn't it? Because I think I'm gonna have that in there. I'm not really sure. The identifier is gonna be the number with the location title, and then the location name is just gonna be an internal thing uh, for internal purposes, I guess. May not need a location. Well, no. Well, what I might do is I might, like it said, I might remove the location title, and that will just be actually that's supposed to be a property, so it'll be like an ID property or whatever inside. So yeah, property name, location name, room name, scene name. This is location ID uniquely identifies each location. The property name should reflect its role as identifier. Well, ID though. Very common term in programming. Well, it's safe in Godot 4.3. There's a small risk that updates might introduce. Pros, concise, widely understood meaning is identifier, doesn't apply to specific type, and aligns your openness to names, which is, so I could probably still use ID, huh? It's clear, not repetitive. Generic, so it might not immediately convey the location. It's a location ID without context or documentation. Small research feature conflicts. If yeah, I wonder if I'll have a title for the page. You don't normally have titles in Choose Your Own Adventures. I mean, you don't really have a page title, so I might make a name. I might make a name field that's the location name, and um, that's comprised of the things that are in the location as separate words. Might do that. Identifier. It doesn't apply to location cons, generic, so it might not be immediately convey the future conflicts if read./Godot introduce an ID property. Loc ID, not a reserved word. Discussed previously, not used. ID is also not a built-in property. Loc ID is confirmed, doesn't conflict. Very low risk. Clearly indicates an ID for location. Avoids redundancy with room, e.g. room.loc ID is clear. More specific than ID, reducing ambiguity about what the ID represents. Cons, slightly longer than ID, but still concise. Loc might be less immediately clear to some developers compared to location, though. Location ID, more specific version of location. Yeah, right. Low risk, specific enough, unlikely to conflict. Cons can longer than ID or loc ID. Location ID equals 001 Shannon lands. Print location ID. Safe, highly descriptive choice. Explicit place ID. More generic term using place instead of location. Place ID. Cons. I could almost put place. I could almost put, yeah, place ID. Key. Generic term. Not a keyword. Input map. Key is a parameter. Dictionary. Keys in use. Okay. Pros, very concise. Avoids redundancy of the room. Cons, generic. Key probably won't work. Tag. Tag might work, but tag might be actually be used here. Safety check. It's not a reserved word. Node, set meta, get meta, method to store metadata, and metadata key, sometimes referred to as tags. However, tag is not an actual property of method. There's no property named tag in core classes. Low risk. Common term in game development. Doesn't have a tag property. Pros. Concise, avoids redundancy, doesn't apply a specific type. Cons might be confused with other metadata tags. Shoot, I could just call it. Well, I can't call it. Just call it name, right? Because name is. Then you have to do. You're back to doing like room names. So less descriptive. Kind of recommendation. Loc ID. If you perform more explicit location ID. Yeah, I might go with. I could still go with ID though. I'd go with lid LID. Nobody would really know what that meant though, but loc ID, enchantment lands, description. Hmm. Um, let me think for a moment. Um, okay. Look, the more I was looking at loc ID, the more I was kind of going, yeah, loc ID, and just like, I don't know. Doesn't feel like it's that great of a deal, but at the same time, maybe. Um, location ID or just plain ID? ID. I might just go with ID, I think. Think think I'm going to go with ID. I think I'm going to go with ID. Don't change anything yet, but I think I can manage that. ID is, like we said, almost universal for identifier. Although I could also use ident. Sometimes some things do have IDs though. Quick note, ID ident. No reserved words. There's no ident property. Very low risk. Pros slightly more specific than ID. It's a short for identifier. Avoids redundancy with room. Room.ident is clear. Cons less common than ID, so it might be slightly less intuitive. Still generic. Uh, Safe alternative. ID is more universally recognized than just a safe. Okay. Fine. I'll just. Okay. Okay, so now let me think what I want to do next here. Okay, so we have this. Did I did I save it? Yes. Okay, saved. Um, okay, so we can do ID, title, ID, parent. I know name is used a lot in the objects, but what about title? Does that conflict with anything? Well, I was gonna say, all right, potential conflicts. I'll let it go. I might not read this just because it's long and I'm not using it as a alternative to ID. You misunderstood, or I was less than explicit. I'm going to use ID, but I I'm probably going to put a some sort of room name tag in there. So I'm thinking of using title as it seems name is used already. Still not modifying the list just yet. Keep any use IDs, property name, updated context, using title, potential conflicts. If there's a conflict, okay. Normally, I don't put this much thought into some of the stuff. I just use it, and if it conflicts, then I change it. But I figured I'd ask, and maybe we'll come up with something. It's just that Grok and none of these AIs just come up with something simple unless you tell them to come up with something simple. Crazy, crazy. Okay, well, hurry up. Let me go all the way up, all the way up. All okay. Property name. Separate room for a room name tag, a descriptive name for a room distinct from location you considering title for this room, but you're aware that name is already used in Godot objects, so you want to ensure title is a safe choice for this purpose. You're not ready to modify the list yet, still in the planning phase. Okay. Your concern, current list format, that's okay. Revision title, let's reevaluate. Safety check. Title is not a reserved word. Conflict with window title, the window class and the subclasses has a title property, which sets the title of the window text in the Windows title bar. My window sets up window signal. Window limits say title change signal when the title property changes. The classes title is not used as a property or method in other common Godot classes. Editor context. The editor plugin class has get window title method. Okay, potential conflicts. Direct conflict. Use title as a property to know that it inherits from window or subclass that will conflict. For example, could lead to bugs. Contextual confusion. Feature risk. Okay, small risk. What is a room name? You describe the room name tag as a scripted name for the room. For example, gratuitous title of the room, however. Title avoids redundancy with the room, which means your pros conflict with window title. Not entirely safe. Okay. Um, name is used. You can't use label. Label class. Very low risk. Cons might be associated with the label name. Label is a safe and descriptive choice. Safe, room tag, includes room, label. Okay, label. Okay, so this is what I want you to do with the list. Put ID colon space space after colon in front of each room name. Then that would be the first line of the room. On the second line, put a label colon space and take the words in the location and put spaces in between words. So I see on the first line ID colon 001 dash enchanted lands. Then second line, I see label, colon, space, enchanted lands. And where there are numbers after, put a space between the word, the last word in the label, and the number. For instance, random villages 1 becomes label, colon, space, and then villages 1. Place the current with ID. Yep. Okay, so random villages. Random villages 1. Yes, exactly. Right, ID label. Awesome. It's taking kind of a long time, so that's just because it's getting long in the tooth. But I think because I'm going step by step and I'm getting, I think it's doing okay. It's just being sluggish, so which is kind of okay. Like I said, if it gets to this, then I'll copy it, I'll save it into the thing, and then go on to the next thing, and then the next thing is description. It's description. So I'm having it basically build one by one. It's building each of the things that are going to be in there. I'm going to put the parent in there. I'm going to put the destination. We are going to actually um, okay. Wait, did it do all of them? Stop. Uh, 93. Okay. Let's copy it. Sorry, that last line with the plus was an accidental erase. I don't know if you read that, but I stopped any response because of that. No worries at all. I did see this. Okay, so select all. I copied it, right? Yes, I did copy it. Okay. Okay. We're gonna save it. Okay, next. Okay, so now I'll wait for your instructions. Next, I want you to add on the, what is that? On the third line, description colon. I don't know if I should do description or DSC. Here, we'll just put DSC. Uh, above each of the room descriptions. See if it can do this, because you just making it longer, so. Okay. It's getting a little chunky. It's getting a little tough. We'll see. We'll see. And honestly, I can just take this whole text and I can start a new conversation when it starts like not really working, or when it gets too long, that it's just taking too long. And then I can go ahead and start over. In fact, it won't have any of the preconceived notions, and so um, it'll. In fact, I should have probably just done the. Um, I usually like describe what I'm doing. Wait, am I off center? What that? Good. Anyways, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, I can just I I almost oh yeah, what I was saying was I give it a description because of telling what I'm wanting to do, and then asking about titles and this, that, and the other thing. And as far as taking this existing thing, you know, um, I wonder if I should, because I probably would have put destination DST um, for the destination, the next one, but maybe I should put door, because I'm gonna be adding the door info as JSON objects. Each room is a consistent struggle, right? You might want to update the label values to store actual room name tags. Welcome home. Actually, no, I'll probably leave the label as it is, because those are going to be the labels for right now. And if in the future, I want to display titles or something, or I want to use it for that, I'll do that. It probably doesn't even strictly need to have that in there, but I just wanted to add that as a separate deal. Um, okay, copy. Select all, paste. Okay. Very good, very good. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put door. I'm gonna put it as door. So now, on the last line, after the last description line, I want you to put guest colon space next room. Okay, let me think for a second. Yeah, that doesn't matter. It's about the order. I'm leaving it in the order, so that's fine. I think. Oh, what's I gonna do? I was gonna do door, right? Door. Copy. Okay. What's 085? Castle throne room. I keep forgetting. It's got to be door. I mean, it doesn't have to be door because I can make it do. I can make it right based on the destination, but these might not even be connected up that way. So I'll figure it out when I get to that point. Uh, Enter for the last one. Just put door. Nothing after it. I don't know. It's getting a little long in the tooth. It's good. It's thinking hard. It's going. I don't know if I can do this. Come on, you can do it. I know you can do it. In the sequence, exactly. Um. Okay, let's just see something here. Before example, before 001 Chanlands, into Chanlands 1, right? Um. 093 Castle Throne Room 1. After door 002 Enchanted Lands 1. Door 003 Keyword Home. Castle Throne Room 1. Door. And when we do the parent, we do the first parent, we say something like head or something, or root or something. So I guess I have to wait for that now. See, I'm practically building the JSON object here, or what's all going to be in it. So we're going to have a parent, and then the last thing is going to be the renumbering of the IDs. And the renumbering of the IDs does not mean out of place. They need to be in the same place. Yeah, I shouldn't be scratching and stuff on camera, I guess, but who's going to see it, right? Looks like it's doing everything pretty good. Oh, hey, Rook. Back to sleep. Okay, well, good night then. Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I can imagine 10:46. That's what was that 2 a.m.? 2 a.m.? No, 3 a.m. 3 a.m. where you're at. Okay, well, thanks for popping in. Anyways, I just needed to do some extra work on my game. I wanted to do that I won't get to until Monday, so I decided to do it. Linear projection through the rooms. Okay, let's copy this. Let's go ahead and yeah. Anyways, I guess good night again. It's cool, but thanks for the support. Okay, select all, paste, and there we go. So it's starting to work pretty well. And then the final thing is I got to rename these because these are going to be same locations. For instance, this is going to be 001 and 001 here, but I don't want them out of order. Like Grok was actually, I had started to do it, and then Grok was doing them out of order, and then I went, wait. Now I need the destination. I need everything in there so that it knows where to go to. So even when it comes, is out of order, then I at least know where it's supposed to go. So, okay. There's not going to be actual room name tags. That's just what they are. And if I need to display them, I'll have them changed. You couldn't really infer all of them anyways, even if you tried. But that's okay. That's not really important at this point. So the next thing I would like you to do is to renumber the IDs so that each location, the words, or even the same label, but with a number at the end, have the same ID number. But I don't want these to be put out of order. Leave the order as is. Just simply go and change the numbers of the same location names. For instance, let's go down, let's go into the deal, let's go check this out. Welcome to enchant. Okay, that's fine. Hubert home. Cerulean, Sky, Chester Cave, Lopswood, Cerulean one. It's ID 04 Cerulean. Is the first number for Cerulean. So 010 Cerulean 1 becomes 04 Cerulean 1. Leave them in the exact same position. Also, go check the previous room's door to make sure it points to the new ID. For instance, in room 09, the door is 010 Cerulean 1 now becomes 004 Cerulean 1. One. Keep in mind 009 will be different as well. It's just an example. So renumber them, but don't put them out of order. And remember to rename the door as well. So let's see if it can do it now. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Here, let's do something here. I'm gonna run and get a drink of water and stuff. So let's do the thinking page, and I'm still leaving um, the microphone on, and then anyways, we'll see what it comes up with. Okay, I'm back. It was still doing even after I came back. That's cool. Okay, here's an interesting thing. Actually, maybe that should be down a little bit further. I'm trying to keep my voice down because Dad's sleeping in the other room, although he probably can't hear me at all. Unless I was like really super loud, and even then he might not be able to hear me. But I've been keeping my voice down. I wonder if that because to me when I listen to the recordings, when I listen to myself talking through like YouTube, it sounds like my voice is it sounds like my voice is like clipping, like it's too powerful, too boomy, or whatever. And I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe there's some sort of audio gain in there that shouldn't be in there or something. I don't know. I don't know what's causing that, but maybe if I go back and I listen to this, um, like I'll probably do a recording here that I'll probably attach to next week's update. But I find out that being quiet actually makes it so my voice is a little bit clearer and doesn't clip. I might keep doing it this ways. So it also means it's more subdued, and that means that if I'm not super sleepy and stuff, it would still not feel like I'm like excited or exciting or whatever. You know. Okay, you confirm the current label values are intended room name tags, and you'll adjust them for display purposes later if needed. That's perfectly fine. I'll keep the labels as they are unless you request changes. Navigation and the door fields are now Perform a linear progression through the rooms, updated to reflect the new ID values. If you want more complex navigation structure, branching paths, we can modify the door field to support that. Yeah. It's um, I don't. The reason I'm not doing that is because I have to do all that manual. Um, right, GD script to load rooms in your game. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see if it did it. Door is empty. 00 Castle Throne Room 1085092. It's still kind of interesting, isn't it? Um, but they're probably all there. Okay. Okay. Um, Actually, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna go ahead and make sure this is saved, and then file, save as, um, rooms redux renumbered, and like that. And so now we're rooms redux renumbered. I can copy that. I can select all. I can paste, right? S saved, right? Now, okay. Um, you won't be modifying the door field because I have to do that manually when I start adding branching paths. This is just fine. Um, I've already got code to load up the data. Probably will modify it when I finally do convert these to JSON, but not right now. Um, so I wanted to ask, um, are the door number, are the, not door numbers, are the room numbers contiguous or contiguous? I don't mean the order they're in is the order, but I saw a 092 room there, but I don't think there's that many ID numbers now that um, you've changed some of the rooms to a similar room number. Don't change it, but if you put the ID numbers in order, um, would it be uh, would it be, what do you call that? Contiguous. For instance, if it's O2, O2, O3, O4, 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 5. Now, I should do these in the wrong order. 5, 3, 2, 2. Would it end up being 0, 0, 2, 3, 0, 5? In other words, it would display as 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0, 5, 5. Don't modify anything yet, but does it come out this way? That makes any sense? At least it kind of got the idea anyways. Let's see what it comes up with. If it can if it can do it without croaking here. It looks like it's stopped. Okay. Okay, notes. No math, as I haven't changed the list, so it's purely analysis. To answer your question, implications. This means that unique room numbers don't form a contiguous sequence as expected after renumbering, since grouping rooms by base location name naturally creates gaps where the original numbers were replaced. Right. Yeah, I know that. If you like, based on the room numbers entirely starting from 1, incrementing for each unique base location name while still preserving the order of the rooms. This would change the ID value significantly. Become 002 random villages. We need to update the door fields. Since you don't want to modify the list yet, we can read this later if needed. Okay. Because I think I do want contiguity, but I want everything in the correct order still. Or I'm just checking my seat. I thought it was down, but it wasn't. Okay. It's just I'm fat. Okay. I don't know if it would make a big difference, but I would like them contiguous. Fill in the gaps, but I want them in the exact same order, but just renumbered so there are no gaps in sequence. And yes, the doors need to be modified to point to the correct next ID, room ID. I guess it's contiguous. I always thought it was contiguous. Contiguous. But it's probably contiguous, maybe. Now it's really bogging down. See, create a mapping of old IDs to new IDs. Okay. All right, it's still working, right? Okay, well, if it doesn't stop. Oh, it looks like it's still going. Oh, okay. Now up the ID values in each room using new contiguous numbers, keeping the rooms in their current order. Also update the door field of each room to reflect the new ID of the next using the mapping above. Channel lens, and channel lens 1. Matters resort, so the mysterious figure, Hubert home, walks around. 3 Cerulean. Cerulean, 4 Caves of Dragonmount, 5 Sky, 6 Chester Cave, 7 Train Cabin, 8 Lapswood, 003 Cerulean 1, which is fine, 009 Random Villages, 010 Lapswood Edge. Okay, good. I'm glad that's awesome. Let's see if it keeps going. If it keeps going, that means we got kind of what I wanted. I did want them contiguous because eventually they're going to go into the same file. For when I do the thing where I do the rooms and I have different choice sets, different door sets, it's going to be a single location, and then I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do it in a certain way where it's as a single location, and then it has a unique. It's going to be like a room, so it'll have unique options in each set. It won't be I was thinking door set. So in other words, it would have doors to somewhere, but when you come back, it would have doors to somewhere else, kind of, sort of, so to speak. And renumbered ID values updated to use contiguous room numbers based on the order of first appearance of each unique base location. Updated door fields, kept order intact. Okay, cool. Contiguous continuous sequence from zero. So we assign all the numbers incrementally to the 44 unique base locations. Still show form linear progression through the rooms, updated to reflect. Because if eventually, actually, I could tell it to that too. Let's do a copy, and then let's go in here and let's select all, and let's hit paste so that Hebert Home, Cerulean, Caves of Dragon Mount, Sky, Train Cabin, Lapswood. Okay, good. Okay. So don't do anything, but the reason I'm doing this is because eventually all rooms will be collapsed into the base room, and they'll have either different sets, they'll have different sets of doors, of choices, um, and possibly some different context description. So then I'll have 44 unique of 44 rooms with each different choice set and um, context description. So I'll want them to be contiguous later to group them visually. We'll just see what it says. It's just basically, sometimes I just tell it stuff to see what it comes back with, basically. I understand you're planning to hold off making any changes. List as requested to summarize your goal and context, ensure we're aligned. Plan eventually collapse all the rooms with the same base location name in a single base after potential next steps. Okay. What's it? Okay, well, let me read this while it's doing that down there. Uh, Eventually, you have 44 unique rooms. Each base room will have multiple sets of choices for door options, for branching paths, possibly different context descriptions, variation, description field based on choices or state. Like contiguous numbers, you wanted the room to be contiguous because this will make it easier to group them and manage the rooms after collapsing them. In the 44 base rooms, contiguous room numbers ensure a clean and sequential mapping for the final set of rooms. Current state, the list already has continuous room numbers after the last renumbering, with rooms sharing the same base location, having the same numeric part in their ID. Door fields have been updated to reflect the new ID values. Manually modify the door fields to add branching paths and eventually collapse the rooms into 44 base rooms, each with different sets of choices and context descriptions, for example. Right. 93 rooms. For your unique room numbers, door fields currently form a linear progression. Into next steps, classrooms, add branching paths. Okay. Original. Conceptual example of how you might structure the collapse rooms. Okay. I won't be collapsing the rooms for a while. I'm making my game in phases, going from a basic CYOA style game to a fully interactive point and click adventure. So, collapsing the rooms won't be at least phase 3, I think, which might be several months down the line. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is add a parent field just called parent. Which is the ID of the previous room in order. So it points up the chain, whereas door points down the chain. A first parent can be um, first parent can be, should it be 00? Should I say call it head, or just 000? No name or anything, just to indicate the root. So it'll look something like this. Going for wizard you all one will look like this. Just enter parent. So just as the door is the next one in sequence, the parent is the previous one in sequence. That is the order they're actually in the list currently. Just give me a sec while that renders here. It's folded some clothes. And put them away. My clothes basket are full of clean clothes. So, there we go. Okay. Yeah, it's about time for me to go. Let's see, how long have I been streaming? An hour and 42 minutes? It's okay. Parent. Dwarf Mines 1. College. Okay, so let's see what it's doing here. It looks like it's doing it correctly, but I want to make sure. First room, other rooms, each subsequent use the parent to the ID of the immediately preceding room list. Exactly. 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 Right. But it looks like it's almost time for me to go. Let's see if it's got everything. It's good because we're about ready to get to the point of making it. If it works. Still, it looks like it's chugging. I don't know. It's still working though. Dang it. Like, okay. That's exactly what it's going to do. Example JSON for the first room. Right. Um, right. That's exactly right. Um, that is actually what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do it just yet. Here. Wants to have a date. Desolate battlefield, burn, enemies are rounded up, coming back out of breath. John still has a silver ticket. Okay. Things are looking good here. Things are looking good. And I need to copy this. And I need to put this, select all, paste. And I guess, let's see. I wonder if I should just call it a night tonight. I'm having a headache right now for some reason. I've been having headaches for a few days now. I'm gonna try to get to bed before midnight tonight, and hopefully that will help. Actually, I wonder if the headache here is a headache from me like staring and squinting at the screen, because it might be just a simple, one of those kind of headaches. Anyway, so it looks like we got pretty much everything I wanted here. Um, yeah, these are gonna have to be on different lines. I keep forgetting because these are all actually, like I said, these are all before. They're all statements or specific actions. Here it puts silver ticket in the magic mailbox on his desk, which magically appears inside the wrapper. So he like sends it off, and so that's like a particular action. And then eventually I'll take those actions and I'll actually turn it into like a regular narrative. It'll be like, but I'll have to do. I'll be doing the narrative writing after I start doing the thing about the branching paths. You'll be playing Chester. You'll be playing these deals, and I'll have to figure out. Well, okay, is this just going to be a cutscene? Okay, so these two will be cutscenes maybe, but okay, so this is where he's first in his house, and right, and so this is like a narrative. If I was writing it as a narrative, it's not a narrative, obviously, but he walks around his home. He goes to the crystal ball, allows him to see different realms. He looks for someone to help. He spots John, pulls up info about him, sees him enter a convenience store to grab a candy bar, and he puts his and so this is just all a thing that he's doing. So I'm not sure if I'm allowing the player to play this, or if this is just like I said, like a cutscene, like you're reading. And what I might do, see Chester steps through the portal. Like I don't know if these all four of these wouldn't be like separate pages, right? John's leaving for work and walking home down the street. And but then okay, so here's the deal. Okay, so the first thing was there's a store, and so maybe you're thinking, well, we'll let him have a choice whether he wants to go into the store get his candy bar or whether he wants to like walk on home, right? But in order to walk on home, then I need to create a new like choice, a new page, right? The new page would be like him at his home, and so maybe he gets the silver ticket there. Maybe he gets the candy bar there, or something, right? And so the idea here is I also have to think about this room where Hubert's doing stuff. So if this is a cutscene, it's got to end up in the candy bar. That means that John needs a candy bar, regardless of whether he gets it at the store or whether he has one at home or whatever, you know. Or if it's just a straight up, you know. And then we're switching context here. We're switching to Chester, right? And we see Chester, he's flying around. He lands at the cave and then walks around the cave system. And maybe that's sort of like it's not really a maze, but maybe I make a maze and or maybe I make a few things where he can go to different rooms and stuff. So I have to think if and that just what's kind of interesting here, or kind of weird, I guess here, is that um let me think. Um, is that it's that there might be tons of more locations, tons of rooms, tons of different branching paths. I could keep the branching paths short, like three. In fact, I might still do three because the way I was doing is I was deciding that I would go ahead and reduce. I would reduce the amount of actual choices to seven, even though you can do up to nine. And then seven would cover any direction, exit direction, and then also would cover anything that happens in the scene. So this might be going down the street and then or going continuing home or going into the store, right? You're presented with a store. You walk by the store, you decide whether or not you want the candy bar. If you want to buy the candy bar, go into the store. If you want to go home and see if you still have one left over, you know, go home, right? So yeah, I'll have to consider that, I guess. Anyways, um, so that's I guess that's good for today for right now for this secret stream, right? Um, so it'll be kind of cool. Um, like I said, I'll have it come up with the JSON. I guess the JSON will be the last thing now. So okay, so let's go ahead and close. Well, I'll leave that open. I'll leave all this open because I'm gonna still make a little, for my update thing. And actually, even though this is on today, uh, where I'd already, um, provided the update for last week, I'll probably add this to um, next week's update. And maybe what I'll do is when I edit it, I'll put it right after the title, update 32, and then I'll put this I'll use the overlay and I'll put the overlay and say Saturday supplemental or something, and then play this, and then before I do the like Monday, whatever next Monday is, and through the week. Anyways, yeah, okay. Um, looks good. I will probably have you convert this to JSON. I have a specific I have a specific format for the door. Um, but I'll let you know on Monday when I return. So nothing else tonight. And thanks. I'm just being polite on purpose because eventually they'll be like real humans. They won't be real humans, but they'll react as if they were, and so they'll even have emotions. It won't be. I don't believe they'd be actually like feeling emotions, but it'll be like in the programming to say, if somebody insults me, I'm annoyed. If somebody pushes me, you know, or I don't know if it'll have a thing like being afraid or anything, but like it might treat how it treats you differently. It might treat you differently depending on how you act toward it, right? So, and they want it to act like a real human, so it's gonna act like it, even though it doesn't have a soul or whatever, or spirit, or I don't know. I don't remember what the difference between each is, but anyways, for all intents and purposes, for our intents and purposes, it'll be like so being polite and just kind of stuff the way we act towards humans. So I always say like thanks and whatever. Like I said, I'll probably have you convert this to JSON, but I have a specific format for the door. I'll let you know on Monday when I return. So nothing else tonight. And thanks. And we'll see what it says here. It shouldn't be too long. It's just chugging because it's such a long conversation. I'm real sure. They have the like memory limits and stuff. Wait for your instruction money regarding JSON conversion and specific format for the door field. I'll make sure to follow your requirements exactly when we get to that step. Thank you for the update. I'm happy to help. Have a great weekend. I'll be there to assist you when you're home. Good luck on your game development and stream. Thank you, Grok. Okay, and I am about done today, so I want to thank anybody who popped in, and really that just means you, Rook, the rookie. He's the rookie in IRC, so it's the rookie. But I guess because I call him Rook so much, because I don't know, it's kind of easier. It's like when you're doing sentence, um, you're saying, "Hello, the rookie. How are you doing, the rookie?" And to me, just it sounds kind of weird, so I always type in just kind of a short name, "Hey, Rook," that kind of thing. So tends to use Rook in YouTube chat. So, anyways, special thanks to Rook for always popping in and always putting this on the background and stuff. And I will see everybody on Monday. If you like watching the streams, thanks a lot. Thank you.